Cars 3 is a 2017 American 3D computer-animated sports comedy drama film produced by Pixar and released by Walt Disney Pictures. Directed by Brian Fee in his directorial debut. The screenplay was written by Keel Murray, Bob Peterson and Mike Rich. The film is the sequel to Cars and Cars 2. The returning voices of Owen Wilson, Bonnie Hunt and Larry the Cable Guy are joined by Cristela Alonzo, Chris Cooper, Armie Hammer, Nathan Fillion, Kerry Washington and Lee DeLaria, in addition to a dozen NASCAR personalities. In the film, Lightning McQueen sets out to prove to a new generation of high-tech race cars that he is still the best race car in the world. The film was released on June 16, 2017. Has grossed over $384 million worldwide and received generally positive reviews, with many critics considering it an improvement over its predecessor, as well as praising its emotional story and animation. Lightning McQueen, now a seven-time Piston Cup racing legend, and the other veterans of the Piston Cup, suddenly find themselves being displaced by the next-generation rookies such as Jackson Storm, outfitted with the latest technology to break speed records. As the season progresses, the amount of new racers begin to increase, resulting in many veterans either to retire or be fired by their sponsors, to make way for the new generation. Then, in the last race of the season, McQueen gets into a near-fatal rollover crash while trying to catch up to Storm, leaving him badly injured. 4 months later, McQueen, recovering in Radiator Springs, isolates himself from his friends, instead watching footage of his late mentor Doc Hudson, who was forced into retirement by a similar accident and fears that this will happen to him as well. After receiving some encouragement from his girlfriend, Sally, McQueen decides continue racing and call his sponsors from Rust-eze, Rusty and Dusty, who surprise him by telling him they opened a new state-of-the-art training center known as the Rust-eze Racing Center, only to reveal that they have sold the team to a new owner, Sterling. There, McQueen meets Sterling and is assigned to train under Cruz Ramirez. Cruz's methodical approach to training wears on McQueen's impatience, and he attempts to use a high-tech racing simulator, only to end up damaging it. Sterling decides McQueen is unfit to race and instead plans to use him for promotional materials only. McQueen contests this and instead makes a deal: if he should win the first race of the season, he will get to determine when he retires, otherwise he will retire on the spot. Sterling accepts the deal but assigns him to work one-on-one with Cruz. McQueen tries to train on the nearby Fireball Beach in order to build up his speed, but he finds most of his time spent on teaching Cruz how to drive on various terrain. McQueen then attempts to race at a dirt track called Thunder Hollow, and inadvertently becomes part of a demolition derby called Crazy 8 that Cruz wins, and her elation leads to McQueen's embarrassment. Distraught at the waste of training time, McQueen rages at Cruz and in a fit of anger, accidentally breaks her trophy. Upset and in retaliation, Cruz angrily reveals that she had wanted to race professionally all her life, since she was inspired by McQueen, but never started a race because she felt intimidated by the other race cars and simply lacked confidence. She resigns as McQueen's trainer and heads back to the training center. Guilty and with no other options, McQueen calls up his friend Mater, who suggests he talk to Doc's mentor Smokey in Doc's hometown of Thomasville. McQueen catches up to Cruz and after revealing that he had fixed her trophy, apologies to her and convinces her to join him. In Thomasville, McQueen meets up with Smokey, who recounts how, despite his forced retirement, Doc found a new happiness in training McQueen. After McQueen accepts that he will never be as fast as Storm, Smokey and his friends help McQueen learn new tricks to overcome his speed disadvantage with Cruz as his sparring partner. However, during the last practice race, Cruz suddenly overtakes him and he suffers a flashback to his crash, shaking his confidence. At the race in Florida, McQueen is coached by Smokey from the pits and manages to gradually push up through the ranks. Sterling, who still believes McQueen cannot win, orders Cruz back to the center. Despite her wanting to stay and watch the race, McQueen overhears this, and remembers Cruz's speech about wanting to be a racer. He devises a plan. The next time he pits, he tells his crew to outfit Cruz in his racing number to try and finally beat Storm, against Sterling's wishes. Cruz is initially shaken by her confidence, but Smokey and McQueen help her to pull ahead. On the last lap, Cruz catches up to Storm. Storm, feeling threatened, tries to intimidate her, even to the point of ramming her against the wall. But she uses one of Doc's tricks to repel off it, take the lead, and